G'day Jaffa Adventures, Terry King here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another episode of our routine maintenance on the 200 series cruiser. And today we're going to do something dead easy that anybody can do regardless of your mechanical aptitude. And that is change the fuel filter. Now, if you watched my oil change video, link below, you'll know that I service this cruiser every 5,000 kilometers, and that includes my fuel filter as well. Now, I'm not quite sure what's up with this, but if you look in your warranty and service booklet, it doesn't actually say to replace the fuel filter. In the petrol model it does. In the petrol model you're replacing it every 80,000 kilometers, but in the diesel model they just simply say inspect the water sediment accumulator. So I guess what they mean by that is there's no regular service interval other than inspecting it every 10,000, and if you see that the filter's blocked, that's when you replace it. Yeah, I'm not keen on that. I get diesel in a lot of outback and remote areas, and I've had water contamination and dirt contamination in it before. So for me, every 5,000 kilometers, that's it. Now this unit here is your fuel canister, and your fuel filter is inside of there. Now ideally, I would run a pre-filter, but as you can see in here, normally the pre-filter sort of sits in this area or in this area, and what I've got is I've got my oil catch can located here, and I've got my Unichip Q4 located here. So there's not a whole lot of real estate for me to be able to put in a pre-filter. Now you could say, well, put your catch can on the other side of the car, and if we go over to the other side, that's where I've actually got my fuse block. So again, I think I've pretty much used up all the real estate spots that I've got, so no pre-filter for me. So let's get stuck into taking this apart and changing out that filter. So the first thing that I do is I jam a rag in here so I don't get diesel pus everywhere. And when I change the filter, I actually remove the canister as well so that I can clean the canister out. You could, if you wanted to, just change the filter itself, but that leaves crud and potential water in the bottom of the canister. Now it's very difficult to see, but there is a tap at the bottom of the canister. So you could simply turn that little stopcock and drain the fuel out of this canister and any of the crud that goes with it. But as I said, for me, I'm going to take the entire thing off and clean it out properly. Now because I'm going to be taking the canister out, I need to disconnect these two plugs. They've just got a little detent in the top of them, and you push that detent and then that plug just simply slides straight off. This little gray one on the side is the same, but its detent is on the side. Push it in and it slides right out. Now the next thing that I need to do, and you probably won't have to do this, is I've actually got to remove this Unichip Q4 module out of the road to be able to get down and access the bolts that hold the filter in. Those are held on by two 12mm bolts, so you simply unscrew the bolts and the filter housing is ready to come out. Alright, now that Unichip Q4 module, you just flick it up off to the side. If you don't have a Unichip Q4, then obviously you just undo those two bolts on the post. And as you can see, that filter is ready to come off now. Now, I won't do that because the next step is to take out these three Allen head bolts and lift this cap off. And that's when you get into the messy bit with the diesel. Now, these Allen head bolts are 5mm. So I've just got a small bit. Just put a quarter drive on it, and it's as simple as that. And there we have it. There's our fuel filter. I just prop the top of this fuel housing out of the road, and then simply remove the entire housing. Just like that. Have a look at that filter. Look at how dirty that is. That's 5,000 kilometers old. I've done a trip through tropical Queensland into the outback, and that is how much crap has got caked in there in 5,000 kilometers. So far out, I would think that that thing would block up pretty bloody quickly from here. Inside the bottom of the canister, I don't know whether the camera can pick that up yet or not, but it's full of particulate matter on the bottom. No water, but there is a lot of crap in there. Now, as far as cleaning that housing out, I just use a simple bloody carby cleaner and spray it in there to dislodge that crap. Swirl it around, tip it out. Now I'll get a rag in there, I'll wipe that out, and I'll dry it out with a compressor. And there we have it, filter housing clean as a whistle. So now we're ready to install our new fuel filter. All right, here's our new filter. And these are the bits you get. You get the O-ring to seal it, and you get this small O-ring, which pops onto the top of the filter like that. The filter simply sits in there like so. And then this O-ring simply sits around the filter housing like that. Now I'll put a little bit of diesel on that just to help it seal, but that in essence is ready to go back into the car. Okay, set our housing back in place. Grab our rag and we'll just wipe off the inside of this lid just to make sure there's no crud in there. So this seal here seals against the face here, and this seal here seals on the housing right here. We'll run our bolts in, finger tight to start off with, because we're going to tighten them down once the filter housing is in place. All right, those are all finger tight and in place. Now we'll tighten down the housing. In my case, I've got to put the Q4 module back in place. In your case, probably not. Run down our two 12mm bolts, and we can tighten those up now. Housing is now firmly in place. Now we can go ahead and run these bolts down. All right, filter housing tightened down, lid down. Now we can put our plugs back in. This one here snaps in. This guy here snaps in. All right, our plugs are all done. Now we've got to fill up this canister with diesel. And to do that, there's a little pump, a primer pump on the top here. So you simply take the palm of your hand and you start pumping. And you can feel when the diesel starts to go through it because it gets a little bit of resistance. And then you can feel when the filter is completely full, because you won't be able to do this priming anymore. And that's about it. So now we'll go and kick her in the guts. Now when you do kick her in the guts, it may stall on you. It depends on whether you've got that canister full of fuel or not, or nearly full of fuel. It may stall on you. If it does, go back out to the filter and prime her up again. And you can see she's having some trouble firing up, so we'll go back out and we'll prime her again. When you are priming this too, you can sometimes hear the tank bubbling as well, and you know that you're actually getting some fuel up here. All right, let's kick her in the guts. There we go, we've got her. So the only thing left to do is to record that we've changed that filter in the service book. And I also take the car for a drive, just a short one, spin around the block, just to make sure there's no air in the system and that it's not going to stall out on me when I'm in traffic, for example. So as you can see, that was a dead easy job. You don't need to be intimidated by these things. Anybody can do this with very, very basic tools. Just take it slow, don't stress about it, you'll get through it, no problem. Now that's 5,000 kilometers worth of crud in that filter. If that's not an indictment to be changing this filter on a regular basis, boy oh boy, I don't know what is. So that's it for this episode, folks. I trust you found it useful. Join me next time on the simple maintenance series when I pull out the air cleaner. I'm running a foam air filter, a uni filter in there, so we'll pull that out, we'll give it a wash, and we'll reinstall it. Until next time, keep the shiny side up. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome one, guys. Cheers.